Hello, welcome back for another lesson. Introduction to Reading Hebrew, lesson 45. Shir being the Hebrew word for lesson or measure. Mem being the Hebrew numeral 40. Hey being the Hebrew numeral 5. Shir Mem Hey, lesson 45. Okay, in this lesson, it's another reading practice, but it's a pretty significant reading practice because it is going to have in it a pretty strong feature for most people in the Sabbath prayers, the Lecha Dodi hymn. This song is spread like wildfire throughout the Jewish world and quickly became part of the standard Jewish service for the Sabbath Eve, the Friday evening prayer service. There's many different tunes, frequently very, very joyous and raucous. Different Sephardi versions of it. There's Hasidic versions of it, Ashkenazi versions of it. So many different versions of this song, and they all have a very joyous tone to them. Now, a little bit about the author. The author was named Rabbi Shlomo Halevi Alkabetz. He basically was in Salonika as a young man and moved to the land of Israel, Sfat. He lived from the year 1500 to 1575, I believe, maybe 76. And he is was a very, very productive author, well-known author during that time period. He was very prone to writing compositions and giving them to people as gifts. So he's very, very famous for his composition, the Manot HaLevi, which was a commentary on the book of Esther that he sent out as a gift to his friends for the holiday. This song, Lecha Dodi, though I have not found a source for this, an early source for this. It has, it basically says, it's brought down that this song was a gift to his bride on their wedding day. So in the song, it borrows language from the book of Shir HaShirim, Song of Songs, or the Song of Solomon, in which in the image of is the image of a king and somebody who he is madly in love with, and vice versa. So it's a love song. So it's borrowing from that. Now the rabbis have taken Shir HaShirim to not just be a love song between a king and a woman, but to be a love song between God and his people Israel, and vice versa. So much of that is caught in this song, in this hymn, Lecha Dodi. Okay, so you'll see the imagery. Okay, so it says, line 1. And I'm not going to attempt to sing it, so by all means look on YouTube. There are many fine renditions and versions of this song. Okay, line 1. Lecha Dodi, come, my beloved. Likrat Kala, come, let us greet the Sabbath, greet the bride. Yeah. The bride, so the bride, the Sabbath in the Midrashic literature is referred to as the bride of Israel. So come, let us greet the bride, Pnei Shabbat Nikavala, the face of the Sabbath, Nikavala, we will receive, we will welcome. Okay, 3, the author goes on to mention, this is, by the way, this is selections from, look in the Siddur for the full thing. 3, in one line, the author says, Shomor v'zochor b'dibor echad. So, Shomor, guard, or keep, v'zochor, and remember, b'dibor echad, it came in one word, in one command. So, this is the two facets of Sabbath observance: the guarding of the Sabbath, very simple things: don't trade in money, don't cook, don't light a fire. And Zohar, it's not all about the restrictions, it's about the remembering of the Sabbath also. A sort of a psychological experience of God's greatness, in which we step back and experience what God has done for us without trying to interfere in it. So there's two facets of that. So one, we refrain from work, and the other one, it's the main observance the rabbis say, remembering the Sabbath, is bepeh, with our mouth. So when we make the Kiddush prayer, or when we wish somebody else a good Sabbath, or whenever we sing Sabbath songs that praise the Sabbath, in a sense we were remembering and what God has done for us. Okay, enough wonking, I'm sorry. So 3, Shomor v'zochor b'dibor echad. Keep and remember it as one command. The two facets of Sabbath observance is one command. I mean, certainly we could lock ourselves in a closet and sit in the dark and eat cold food, and just, we would not be guilty of breaking the Sabbath then, but the other aspect of remembering it, sort of the spirit of the Sabbath, we would be guilty of neglecting. Fine. 4, he continues, Hishmianu el hamyukad. Hishmianu, who's made us here, who made us here concerning the Sabbath? El hamyukad, the special God, the one God, the singular God. Hamyukad means special. I mean, the one that is special to the Jewish people. Well, of course, there's no other God, but there's different claims to God, and the Jewish claim to God definitely is ancient and rooted in the Torah. 5, Adonai echad, God is one, ushmo echad, and His name is one. 6, l'shem, u'l'teferet rather, v'l'tehila. L'shem, to in honor, in honor and praise and glory. Okay. Fine. Lecha Dodi. And then it goes on. 7. Likrat Shabbat. Lechu v'nelcha. Likrat Shabbat. To greet the Sabbath. Lechu, let us go. V'nelcha, and we'll go. Okay. 8. He, because it, makor habracha. It is the makor, the source, habracha, of the blessing. Definitely Sabbath observance and right Sabbath observance, meaning in both phases, Shomor v'zochor, guarding the Sabbath, but also remembering the Sabbath, in both phases of its observance. That is the source of blessing. That is the thing that God has put in our life, this weekly reminder of our freedom, of our createdness, a time to be with family, a time to study the scriptures in a significant way that perhaps we don't get to during the week, a time to have some extra sleep. These things are the things that make life worth living. These are the sort of the source of bracha, and of course God is the source of the Sabbath. The Sabbath was placed in our lives to be a blessing to us. 9. Mirosh mekedem nesucha, formed at the beginning of creation. 10. Sof maaseh, the end in terms of action. The Sabbath came at the 7th day of creation. V'makshava techila, but in thought, and sort of the plan of all things, techila, it was first. In other words, the Sabbath was planned from the beginning. Creation was to be 7 days, and the first day, so to speak, came into existence so that there could be a last day. And the last day would be the Sabbath. Lecha Dodi, blah, blah, blah. And it continues. So that's a very, very well-known song. There is much more to it. It's a profound song if you really sit and study it. Alkabetz is, one of the well-known great poets of Jewish history. So I strongly recommend looking into his writings and his contributions to Jewish liturgy. Interestingly enough, this is one of the relatively late contributions to the prayer service that was accepted by virtually all communities. So that's very, very interesting to see something that was contributed this late, but yet found acceptance in all communities. Okay, and 11, we have some quotes from the Torah itself concerning the Sabbath. 11, it says, Ve'shamru b'nei Yisrael et Shabbat. And shall observe, who? The B'nai Yisrael, the children of Israel, et Shabbat, the Sabbath. They shall observe the Sabbath. So we have Shamor, they should guard. 12, Zochor et Yom HaShabbat l'kadsho. You should remember the Sabbath. That's Yom HaSabbath, the day of the Sabbath, l'kadsho, to keep it holy, to sanctify it. So again, these are two phases of Sabbath observance that are you can't have one without the other. If one person is violating the Sabbath, getting in their car and tooling around town, or doing all sorts of other things that are distracting, then, but he says, "Oh, I'm good. I'm wishing everybody a Sabbath. I'm on my spiritual high here. Shabbat Shalom." And such a person is missing out on the Sabbath experience. He is not guarding the Sabbath, and he is missing out on that. He's busy with the world, does not give himself the chance to appreciate the world. The same token, somebody who is all about the strictures, all about holding himself back, he has OCD, he is punctilious, so punctilious with the guarding of the Sabbath that nothing is permissible. Such a person is so busy with guarding the Sabbath that he doesn't allow himself headspace to remember the Sabbath, to appreciate the Sabbath. So we have the balance between that is expected of us, and this balance of Shomer v'Zochor, of guarding and remembering, is the two proper phases of Sabbath observance. It is hard to have one. Well, it's impossible to have one without the other. Okay, that's enough for me preaching. I apologize if I got a little long in the tooth. Okay, call to Keep learning.